Hi, this is Chef Inspire. I am here today to talk to you about creating the perfect relationship. Not just a relationship with a loved one. I'm talking about a perfect relationship throughout all of your relationships. Now get this. We have been taught to give, and not to receive. It's hard for some of us to receive things, but we've been taught to give, especially when it comes down to relationship. Give of yourself unselfishly. Do what's important to the other person. Seek out the other person's wishes and try to make their wishes come true. I mean, this has been what we've been fed. And this actually leads to dysfunctional relationships. What do I mean by dysfunctional relationships? Relationships that are one-sided. Relationships that stifle the growth of each person that's in it. The relationships that hold people back, that make them not grow to their full potential. Now, the perfect relationship should work like this. The perfect relationship should have a mutual growth. We should be growing as individuals and then growing together as a couple. We should be growing as individuals and then growing together as a family. And we should give each other the space that we need to grow. If the space is given for growth, what happens is you allow that person to be who they are. And when you allow a person to be who they are, that's the most important person that they could be. That's the most powerful person that they could be, is to be themselves, is to be fully themselves. Don't stifle who they are. Don't hold back their expressions of who they say they are. If they want to have blue hair, let them have blue hair. If they want to wear weird looking clothes, mismatched colors and all that kind of stuff, if that's who they are, let them express themselves and do not try to hold them into the box that you want to put them in. So that's really important when it comes down to creating a perfect relationship. Another misconception when it comes down to relationships is that we should think of each other first, that I should put that other person before me. And this right here kills more relationships than anything else. Why does that kill relationships? Why? Because you have people that are operating and that are expecting other people to make them happy. You are expecting that person to create happiness in your life. And when you do that, you put a load on that person that they cannot possibly fulfill. Because happiness does not come from your external environment. Happiness, true happiness, comes from your internal environment. Now, I could give you a gift and it can make you happy for that moment, but as soon as life comes back around, if you don't have internal happiness, that gift will require me to give you another gift, and to give you another gift, and to continue to do the things to create those little bursts of happiness which don't last. But true happiness comes from within. And the way that we do that, the way that we get true happiness is to become and to practice happiness. You heard me. Become, practice happiness. This is a practice, just like driving, just like public speaking, just like riding a bike, just like whatever you want to learn in life. Practicing happiness can be perfected. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the more internal happiness you can produce. So when a couple starts to practice internal happiness, that means that I'm not expecting you to make me happy. I'm going to make myself happy. I'm going to create happiness inside of myself. And then when we come together, we are both internally happy. So we have no other choice but to be happy together. Because that multiplies our happiness. If you're happy and I'm happy and then we come together, that makes us more happy. That's true. This is what creates the perfect relationship. Now, how do I practice happiness? I practice happiness by thinking about the things that make me happy. Not dwelling on the things that bring me down. I let those things pass. I become like a fence, a wire fence, and I hold on to the things that make me feel good, and all those other things, I just let those pass through. Of course, you're going to experience them and you're going to feel them, but you don't dwell on them. You only dwell on the things that make you happy, and you think about the things that make you happy. If you look after your whole day, if you just, at the end of the day, if you sat down and only thought about the things that made you smile throughout that day, that right there is a good practice. And this is practicing happiness. The more you can direct your mind to the things that make you feel good, the more happy you will be as a person. So you learn to practice happiness. And you become happy. You become happy. I'm the happiest person I know. I am. I'm internally happy. And I feel, not only do I feel happy, I feel rich, because I created my own definition for what rich is. I created my own definition of what wealthy is. I created my own definition of what I want my life to be. And when I create my own definition and don't let the world create it for me, I can maintain happiness because I know how to reach it. The world depicts that prosperity or success means that you have a lot of money. But how many people you know that had a whole lot of money that had no happiness at all? That was the most miserable people. There is an illusion of happiness with things, but true happiness comes from here. It comes from inside of you. It comes from inside of each and every one of us. If we choose to practice happiness, we will have the perfect relationships. Now, at first, when you start to practice this, that means that you always look at the cup as half full. You always look for the good in everything. People around you are going to be like, you know, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? It's like they living in a bubble, and trouble don't exist. But trouble does exist. This is something Stevie Wonder said. He said, my father used to say to me that I should always look at the negative, but I should always live in the positive. Because when I live in the positive, this allows my life to remain on a positive level. You have the power. You have the internal power to produce happiness and powerful, strong, productive, good relationships with people by not expecting them to make you happy. This is the misconception. And this is why most relationships fail. We put too much pressure on the other person to produce happiness inside of us. And they can't do it. No matter what they do, they cannot do it. They cannot produce happiness. Happiness is only produced by the person that you see in the mirror. You. You can make you happy. And when you make you happy, and when you start to love you, put yourself first, what happens is you become a whole person. And when you become a whole person, the two whole people make one powerful whole person in a relationship. But two half people makes a dysfunctional person. Why? Because they are each seeking happiness through each other. You cannot receive happiness through another person. If you just got that point down, I cannot receive happiness through other people. I must produce and make and practice my own happiness. This will create peace, joy, and happiness in my own life. I'm the only one that can do it. I take the responsibility from my person, my mate. I take it away from them. I don't hold it over them anymore. I just produce happiness in me, and in turn become the best me that I could possibly be. And when I do that, everybody around me benefits. Everybody. Because they receive the best me, the most productive me, the happy me, the powerful me, the me that is able to produce happiness, true success in my own life. I hope you get this. I hope you got it. If so, guess what? Your life will get better and better. You are an individual, and you are individually responsible for your own happiness. And if you practice this, you will have wonderful relationships. Even with the people that don't want to have a relationship with you. Even with the people that don't like you. Because what can they do? You happy. And you produce happy. You carry happy around. I got happy in my pocket. I got a whole bag of happy in the trunk of my car. And I can just pull it out anytime I want. You want some? I'm going to give you some right now. Here you go. Happy. God bless.